Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Adam.
I'm Ben.
And welcome to Filmbusters.
Filmbusters.
Today we are talking about Dragged Across Concrete. This is my selection. Last week we did Casino, which was Ben's selection. And the week before we did Whiplash, which was Adam's selection.
And this week is what?
Dragged
He said it.
Across
He said it.
Concrete.
All right.
Listen, you're here to participate.
Listen, what is Dragged Across Concrete?
Well, you can't really say that without spoiling the film.
We'll get to that, will we? We'll get to that. Why it's
Are you talking
called
about why is
that,
it
shall
called
we?
Dragged Across Concrete?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
All right
We'll
then.
talk about it. But we got more exciting things to happen first, Ben. We got a quiz.
Look at Adam pushing things along very promptly and swiftly. Look at us, we're zipping through this, so bang, let's catch you boys off guard. So I've got two questions for you boys. For those who aren't familiar with the format, let me break it down for you. Every week I ask these two boys a question. If Adam or Paul get it right, they get the point. If they get it wrong, I get the point. Currently, as things stand, for the first time in a very long time, young Adam leads the pack. He's got 6 points. Paul is in second place with 5 points, and I'm coming up the rear with 3 points. So the very best I can do today is match Paul. But I have a feeling that you two ain't going to get these questions, because I realised I was too easy with you boys in the past, especially last week. Adam just nailed both of them too easy. So let's see. Are you ready for your first question, boys?
Let's do it.
In Mel Gibson's infamous leaked audio tapes to his ex-girlfriend,
Okay.
which includes both racist and sexist comments throughout, at one point he threatens to kill her. But where does he state he will bury her body when he does so?
In the back garden.
Adam?
I don't know. In the middle of the Amazon.
Paul was the closest. It is a garden, but he was more specific than that. It wasn't a back garden. It was in a rose garden, because actually he's quite romantic. So he would bury her in the rose garden. That line sticks out for me.
What question is that, man?
Because, well, we're going to be talking about Mel Gibson today, and surely we're going to be talking about his terrible antics off camera, so that adds a little context to it. That line sticks with me, one of the lines that sticks with me the most, because it's so specific, it's scarily specific when he says he'll bury her in a rose garden. It's like,
Well, you
that's
ever
what a
listened to it
fucking
like once,
psycho
I think? I don't care for it.
I've listened to it so many times. It's all like that Christian Bale audio tape. Yeah, you can listen to it
Yeah,
once,
that's just
but
funny,
you have
though.
to keep going and keep going. Mate, the Mel Gibson ones,
keep going
although he's
back.
a monster, you have to keep listening. Same as like when I listen to Charles Manson videos to fall asleep. Very therapeutic, and I'm not even joking. I promise you, I'm not even joking on that. So therapeutic that is to listen to him. Okay, so that's a good point for me. Lovely. So I've gotten one back. So now I'm on 4, and now this one.
You can't be
Again,
just going out giving stupid questions and then getting points for it.
that's a fine question, mate. That is a fine question.
It was
Here's
fine.
the next question.
I'll take that question. It's fine.
It's one of the best ones you've ever had. Listen to this question now.
Let's do it.
Actor, I've written down Tory Kittles, but I believe his name is Troy Kittles, as the guy who plays Henry, the black guy in this movie, says he was terrified to film one scene in particular for this movie. What scene was he terrified of filming?
The sex scene at the beginning.
Oh! I was so not expecting him to get that, and he fucking nailed it.
Yes.
I was gonna say knocking on the mum's door.
Yeah, that's the other one I was going to go for, the baseball bat. But I don't know. I was just trying to think, like, why it would be
It's
so
true.
stupid. Yeah.
It's very true.
Well, his quote was because he was literally terrified that his naked body, his arse, would be forever in cinema and on screen. And he was more nervous about filming that than any other scene in the whole film. I'm surprised you went straight to it like that, Adam. Well
Very
done.
good.
I'm just trying to think a little bit outside the box, because it's not going to be one of the...
It was his favourite
Stupid
part of the film, wasn't it?
Well, fuck me, man. He has pulled away.
I lost interest after that.
You see, Adam's on a 7 now, Paul, and you're
He's
on a 5.
doing well, isn't he?
He's got a 2-point lead on you, boy.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there on a 4. Paul,
It won't
bad
last
week-
long. It never lasts long.
Paul has had 2 back-to-back bad weeks. Adam, in the last 2 weeks, you've taken 3 out of a possible 4 points. How does that feel?
Easy, innit? Like, just smashing it out over here.
It's quite spectacular, that, eh? That's a
Apparently
nice feeling.
smashing out over here.
Yeah, I know. That's some fumbled shit.
I was like smashing it in.
Anyway,
Sentence.
well done.
Well done.
Anyway, should we get on with it now to the main? I'm pushing this along really quickly.
You
He
are,
wants
you're-
to get straight to the point, this guy.
We've
does.
been mustering shit for half an hour before this.
He wants to talk about that sex scene.
All right, then let's hit it, shall we?
The main event. Here is our feature topic, plus Adam might do a rubbish plot summary.
Are you fucking serious?
Right, today we are talking about Dragged Across Concrete. It is a spoiler episode, so if you have not seen the film, then we will be spoiling it for you. So go away, watch the film, come back, and we'll give you a great breakdown of it. Adam, would you like to explain the plot?
Oh yeah. So this is about two cops who are Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn. You could probably say they're very old school in their ways, quite racist, quite sexist. They don't really give a shit for like the new breed of people coming through. They want to do it by their own old school ways, and they get suspended. And Mel Gibson decides he's had enough of not making enough money because his daughter's getting bullied. So they go down to take on some drug dealers and make some money.
Or do they?
Dun, dun, dun.
We'll do
Yeah.
that.
That's the plot.
Can I just say, before we get into our thing,
Yeah?
just remember Adam's description there, because I think it's interesting that that description that he just gave is completely accurate, yet without watching this film, you would have a completely different idea of how this film plays out on the back of that description.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
What actually transpires is a very different experience to the film you would have in mind, I would say.
Okay. Anyway, let's say Ben go. Ben will go first.
No, I think the person who's filming it should go
I'll
first.
talk about it first, shall I?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my breakdown of Dragged Across Concrete. I gave this film an 8 out of 10. I watched this last year, and it was my first S. Craig Zahler film, which led me on to watching Bone Tomahawk, which I thought was absolutely amazing, one of my favourite films last year.
Very good film.
I really love the worlds that S. Craig Zahler creates. They're so like sinister, and they're unforgiving, and like they're probably like quite realistic compared to the Hollywood shit that people bring out, because it's dirty. It's like the characters. There's not like an arc for their characters. It's just like, this is how they are, and you got to fucking deal with it, kind of thing. And the violence in this film is raw, it's unforgiving, it's horrible. There's one scene this actually makes me feel sick when I watch it. Yeah, it's slow paced, but I think when the moments hit, they hit big and they're great. And by the end of the second watch, I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Ooh,
Wow.
interesting.
You wanted to do that. You were willing it all the way through on the second watch. You wanted to give it
Well,
that
I
fucking
think
9.
I think the fact that my appreciation for his other two films kind of heightened the view that the watch this time, because
So what
I don't know.
previously had you watched this first before the other two?
yeah, it's the first film I watched from S. Craig Zahler.
Right.
Okay.
On
Interesting.
to Adam.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I've only watched, the other film I've watched by him is Brawl in Cell Block 99, and I thought the idea of the film was good, except the film went on for way too long. It was like 2.5 hours when it could have, in my opinion, been an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes, that film. It was way too much before the film.
Are you talking
Actually,
about
got
Cell
going.
Block or Dragged Across?
Yes, listen.
No, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about right now.
Cell Block.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So that's the only other experience I've had with him. So coming into Dragged Across Concrete, and you see it, it's even longer. And yes, this film, it dragged on way too long for me. I was kind of lost interest by the end of it. I was just like, finish this film. Yes, the ending of the film is probably the best part, but I didn't care for the middle bit. I didn't even really care for either of them two that much. They weren't very likeable. They were quite good in their acting, but I didn't care what happened to any of the characters really. But apart from maybe some of the people in the bank, who obviously get a bit more normal, I'd give this film 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Good. Now we're going to have a conversation. At least we know we got some fucking
Yes.
polarizing views for once. I swear,
It
all
seems
our
like we
episodes so
do.
far we've been around the same. So, unlike Adam, I haven't seen Brawl in Cell Block 99, but I have seen Bone Tomahawk because Paul recommended it to me last year. And I remember watching that, and I was really fucking pleasantly surprised by how that film played out, because you feel it's going to go one way, and it's almost like a spoiler to say that it goes another way. But it's like, I think I read at the time they called it something like genre crunching or something like that, where it takes a genre you think is going to play out, and then suddenly it twists it and throws in something else. But almost to say that is kind of like a spoiler, so I won't say anything more. But I loved that style. I really liked it. I thought that was really good. And yes, I would be more interested to see stuff from him. However, I really don't like Vince Vaughn. And so the fact that his two other films starred Vince Vaughn puts me off from an outset anyway. And then this one with Mel Gibson in it, I ain't got a beef with Mel Gibson, but I do know that he's an absolute cunt. So it's hard to watch a film that has Vince Vaughn and Mel Gibson in it. And for the first hour, maybe hour and a half, I was thinking, this is so fucking slow and ponderous that none of this is necessary. Just get on with it. But then, before the whole climactic bit, the final climactic hour, I started thinking, hang on, this is trying to establish a mood only now, but it's taken me an hour and a half to understand that it's trying to set a mood. And by the time I came to appreciate it, the mood shifted slightly, and we suddenly started getting a lot more action. But it's not quite action, but stuff started happening in a very slow paced way. And I thought that was a missed opportunity, because that first hour and a half, like you're saying, Paul, I reckon on a rewatch, you might appreciate that hour and a half much more. But for a first time viewing, that first hour and a half was a struggle. And for that reason, I do agree, it was far, far too long. It could lose an hour. That entire middle scene, the bank scene, was pure audience baity. It was just to get a reaction out of people. It served nothing in the plot. And for that reason, it's a 7 out of 10 for me.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Where do we start?
Start at the beginning, and when you get to the end, stop. Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, it's the same problem. These films don't need to be. Was it 2 hours 50? Isn't it almost?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is it that long?
Yeah, 169 minutes.
Like the film, like I haven't got a problem. Like we obviously did Casino last week, which is 3 hours 10, isn't it, or something like that.
Yeah.
I haven't got problems with film being long, but this film doesn't warrant that length of time. You just lose interest in this film, and if it had lost an hour, like Ben said, I'd actually probably have given a shit at the end of it, and actually all like, okay, like there's something happening now that's getting gross, but I just didn't care. I was just kind of happy it was coming to the end and ending.
See, I disagree, because watching this film, it might help the second watch, but I did give it an 8 out of 10 for the first watch. I feel like running throughout the whole film, there's like this like unknown tension just running through.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like,
I totally felt the tension all the way through.
Yeah, like what you don't even know what's happening. Like when you see the guy go into his house, and he's got like a secret room in his house, and it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
It's like, and they're staking out, but you don't know what they're staking out, and it's like I loved it, and the unknown tension really did it for me.
I get all that, but they played on it. It went on for too long. It's like, that's good for a bit. Let's move this along. Come on.
See,
I didn't care for the characters as well, so that probably doesn't help.
That's what people say about this podcast. Don't care about the characters, and it just goes on.
Let's move along. It doesn't need to be an hour and a half long. Just get it over with. Only come for the quiz.
I love the fact that this film is full of people that are horrible fuckers, and he's not trying to make you like them. And even by the end, it's not like there's a story arc where it's like, oh wow, that guy, he's actually a nice guy, he redeemed himself. It's like, no, he didn't. It's like, and I love that. I love the fact that it's like, they're just horrible people in this horrible world, and it's like, just watch them fucking each other up till they're fucking dead.
So I agree with that. I do like the fact that they're not nice people, and he doesn't make any attempt to make them likeable or give them some sort of redemption story. Like you said, there's no arc. But I think the fact that it still plays into the fucking age-old male gaze type thing. It's like, it's a story for men. Poor Mel Gibson, his wife's got MS and his daughter's being bullied. So they're the victims, not him. But let's follow his story while he tries to get money for them to make a better life for them. It's just playing into that, all right, let's tell the men's story. It's the women who are fucking suffering.
She's fucking racist too.
Yeah, but so the wife's thing, yeah. But I'm not saying the wife is good or that the daughter is good. Like, what my point is that yes, the wife is racist, yeah, but she is the victim in the situation. Like if you want to say there is a victim in this film, the victims in terms of Mel Gibson's story are his daughter and his wife, not him. He is only a victim because of what has happened to his wife and daughter. He's not a victim for getting kicked off the force because he was being abusive as fuck.
Yeah.
So it's his wife and his daughter who are actually hard done by. So this is another story about a man going, oh, this shit's happened to the women in my life. I can't protect them. Let me go out and do this.
But at the same time, it's like, this isn't a film where it's like, oh look, and then he gets his way at the end. He gets his reward because he's been hard done by. It's like, no, this is gonna fuck him over because he's a horrible person.
Yeah, but he manages to provide at the end, doesn't he? Nevertheless, despite the fact that there's no moralising in the film, at the end, everything he did, he got the gold for his wife and his daughter, and she says, thank you. But
they're the ones who need it.
Yeah, I know, I know, I get that, and it's playing into that typical thing of the men going out to help the women.
I just thought that if they had focused on the family aspect a bit more, I reckon I'd actually have cared for his conquest. They kind of, you see them at the beginning, and then they're kind of littered a little bit here and there, but not enough for you to just know why he's doing it, almost. This is a film that is 2 hours 50 again, and there's not a lot of story arcs, there's not a lot of progress, there's not a lot of relationship building through the characters and whatnot. You don't see enough of why, you just literally see them following people around.
This is why I love it, because it's not about building like a personality or making someone change their ways. It's like, this is just horrible fucking people, and it's realism. It's realism. When you're watching a fucking Hollywood film, it's like, look at them, look, they progress and they have a lovely life, they get all the money, blah blah blah. It's like, no, it's like, this is actually fucking real life.
But is it like that? All that shootout that happens does it? I don't know, but that doesn't happen like that in real life.
Doesn't it? Why doesn't it?
I wouldn't have believed for a second. So, okay, I don't want to talk about this yet. But that, despite the fact that final hour is strong, there is no way in hell that Vince Vaughn and Mel Gibson would have let that woman crawl towards their car without shouting, hey, do you want to just slow it down there, honey? Or put the gun on her before she gets there? Because why would they just let her crawl out across? That was so unbelievable to me. And when she shot him, I was like, that was so fucking obvious that was going to happen. So obvious.
The whole world is dramatised for the fact that this film, it probably happened, but it doesn't happen like that. Because if there was a big blowout and there's a big shootout in the bank, you'd see that type of shit on the news. Like, that world of drug dealers probably, I don't know, but doesn't happen like they do see it in TV. They're not always having shootouts, they're not always doing this, they're not always doing that. So it isn't a realistic film. A realistic film, you'd go for you'd say like Kes or something like that, like a kitchen sink drama kind of, what's his name who does them, Ken Loach. Like they're like realistic films. Like,
yeah, but this is not that kind of film, is it?
You said it was realistic.
No, but this is not walking around looking at depression with families. This is about two racist police officers going around trying to steal some money off a person. Obviously, there's going to be gunfights
in a dramatised, over the top way. So I don't know how the aspects of it, like, you've gone that way, kind of make it interesting.
Oh, come on, how can it not? That was so interesting.
I didn't care for shit. I'm sorry. By the end of it, it's just like, I don't know who I want to win this. I don't want anyone to win this.
That's
Everyone's
the point.
A loser.
That's the point.
Me.
And obviously, you're the kind of person who wants to see Hollywood heroes at the end, where they're getting everything they want.
No, I just want to have some
themselves.
relation with a character in the film. I don't give a shit if it's a hero or a villain. It's like, you look at not Breaking, that's a bit of a stupid example because you spend so much longer with the character. But there's so many films where you have the anti-hero, and even that you might like them and you want them to win because you allow the character to develop. Even like in a Scorsese film, let's go back to last week. Like, that's a 3-hour film, so it's an extra 10 minutes onto this film, okay? But you build up such a development with those characters. They're not good people, but you want them to win almost because you develop with them and you see that. But these people here, that wasn't built, so you just don't give a shit.
I gave a shit. I didn't give a shit about the characters, but I gave a shit about the story it was telling.
I only cared about the final bit because I didn't... Up until that point, it was hard to work out what the fuck I was really supposed to be rooting for. It's only once the bank job's done. After the bank job, that film was great. I feel like if they'd had half an hour or 40 minutes before that to set up the story, they could have done this film much more effectively. All of that stuff on the staircase, all of that stuff with them in the car, eating the sandwich, all of the nonsense with her leaving her baby, going to work at the bank, none of that was necessary. Just give us a very condensed version to set up the characters of these men. Keep the pace if you want. I'm not saying speed the pace up of the whole thing, but cut the runtime. Keep that slow, methodical pace. The lack of music makes it seem even longer because it hasn't got that typical sort of editing and structure to it. So it just feels like a nice pace. But having an hour and a half of these men who, like you're saying, Paul, absolutely, you don't need to make them likable. It's almost like, we're not making them likable, so can you invest? And it's like, yeah, I can, but not in constant conversations about sandwiches and shit, you know? That was just, it became too much. It almost
If you're
felt
spending
like...
that much time with them, you need to have some payoff from it. You did get a payoff
You
from it.
fucking get a massive payoff, mate. How can
Not
that not
just-
be a payoff? That bank scene was amazing. The whole shootout was amazing. And the actual conclusion was amazing.
You think the bank
No, but
scene
you're
was
spending
good?
an hour and a half watching these guys sit in
okay,
a car,
let
and
me-
then that story to lead effectively nowhere.
Listen, because you're saying about the bank scene, I don't know whether because I have a kid or not, but that was horrifying, that scene. Because
was quite
it was disgusting. The fact that she was like...
Yeah, exactly. But you know, the only reason he put that in was just to have something for this exact reason. So this is what you were talking about last week, right? When you, at the end of the pod, when you said, "Oh, there's a really gruesome scene" or something. Yeah, was it this?
Yes,
Where she
yes,
gets ahead?
yes.
So exactly.
I wouldn't have
That's
said that
the
was
only
really
reason.
gruesome.
No, but I had that in my mind. I had that in my mind when I was watching this film. So when that came up, I'm like, oh, that's the moment. But Zala, I'm not dissing the man. I like it. I like Bone Tomahawk. But it felt like that scene purely existed. The whole 10, 15 minutes just to have that scene and then have people go, oh, this is really gruesome bit in it. But it's like, you could take that out completely. It contributes nothing to the story because it doesn't make you hate the bank robbers anymore. It doesn't give you any compassion towards Mel Gibson or Vince Vaughn anymore than if you haven't seen
effectively
it.
don't
So
know
it's
that
like,
happened.
why do it? Why even include it in the film? It was.
I think it adds to the film because it's almost like it's pastiche in life where this robbery goes on. It's like this is the lives that have been affected by this robbery. It's like when you see on the news pregnant, well, not she wasn't pregnant, but woman with a baby who's just been born has been killed. It shows her face and everyone goes, oh, that's so sad, I can't believe it. And it's doing the same thing in this film.
She was the only death I actually gave a shit about. Like, that was the only film where I was like, oh, they managed to build up more character development with that person in 2 minutes.
But that's
than they
because
did
she has
for
the
an hour and a half throughout
Hollywood.
the film.
She has the Hollywood character
Yeah.
development. Show the fact that she's going back from maternity. Give her the sympathetic story. Yeah, of course. But of course, you're not going to feel sorry for anyone else who dies because they're all bastards. You don't feel sorry that anyone else gets
There's
shot.
just
or
way
killed.
too much investment into people that slow down the film.
I mean,
This film isn't for me. I don't think his films are for me.
I don't think this film
This is
was for you, mate.
2 out of 2 now. But I thought this was too long.
2 out of 2. That's a 10 out of 10 then, mate.
Yeah, he's got like, I don't know, 12 out of 20.
It's 2 out of 2.
New
Well, I mean,
ranking
like-
system.
No, his films, like 2 out of 2 films that I've watched, that I had exactly the same problem with.
Well, I tell
2
you
out
what.
of 2 films, yeah?
Can I
Can you stop saying 2 out of 2 films?
I know, innit? I would like to watch Brawl so that I get a context for this guy, because there is a very definite tone and a very definite style which you can see in Bone Tomahawk that you can see in this. 100% though, Paul, Bone Tomahawk is a really fucking good film, but in this setting, just like in Bone Tomahawk, the characters were fucking interesting. What was happening to them was interesting, and in this, it was sort of like it just feels like a bit of a chore to go through.
I felt the same way on the first watch, I think, for the first half of it. And now when I watched the second watch, I enjoyed it so much more.
I won't be watching this film again.
But as you say about Cell Block 99, it has that same kind of horror running throughout. It's not trying to glamorize it, but it's
is
more
a-
like
they
a
are
B.
gritty
It's like a
films, they are.
graphic B movie. Cell Block 99, I'd say. And I kind of feel like these have all got that kind of feel. They're all kind of like a B movie kind of horror. I think the special effects in it, they're all you can see they're all practical because it looks horrible. Like when she gets shot in the head and her head explodes, it's like a minute. It's
that.
like a. It's
But then
like
her arm blew off. It was like literally a whole hand had gone.
oh, it was horrible.
like-
Her fingers fucking hanging off. Disgusting.
Yeah, she got shot in the hand and the whole hand had disappeared. And it was
She
just
got
like,
shot in 2 hands.
Yeah, I know. But first of all, it's just like all they've done is just made the sleeve longer. She just tucked her hand up her sleeve because it looked like the sleeve was so much longer than it needed to be.
I just saw no need for that scene whatsoever. I don't care about violence, include violence if you want, but that it just felt like that was just an unnecessary detour.
I think you need to show the victims of crime.
Since when?
Since forever, mate. You got to feel sympathy for these people that it's affecting. And did you see as well when he drove past the bank? You see the guy with his ball shot off
Yeah,
because there was obviously someone in the back of the bank.
yeah.
Poor man.
Well, like Reservoir Dogs, then, like you don't give a shit about the people the victims in Reservoir Dogs.
That's true.
You don't need to see it.
Well, I don't think that because they didn't like play it out. They had her in the scene for about 10 seconds. That woman in the car in Reservoir Dogs.
I know, but then don't put Jennifer Carpenter in this at all.
To be honest, it's not that kind of film, Reservoir Dogs. This is showing like the horror of the world. It's like horrible people, horrible settings, horrible situations that people get put in.
Yeah.
And that is the tone of the film, and for me, I love that tone in film because it's kind of the horror is beautiful.
I love
I
bleak
can
and
see
dark,
what you mean
but
by that, and I can see it isn't. Yeah, you haven't got they haven't made it look nice, but yeah, that was all right. But the film itself isn't great because there is some parts. It's not bad. Like it's not bad on the surface. It's not badly directed. Like you said, it's not. All of those tones in the film, they're not bad. It's just lets itself down. It does the basics of a film right. It's just anything beyond that, it just doesn't do. That's why if I didn't think of that, I'd give it less than 6. But
I wouldn't be that harsh. I
It's like
think,
a happy ending.
I think he's a very good director. I think his style is very good. I do like his style, but what he needed in this film was an editor, someone to come in, because reading up on
did he write the film as well?
Yeah, he wrote it, and
Yeah.
everyone was pretty much telling him, you need to cut this, and he was going, no, I'm not cutting it. And it's like, sometimes you need someone from outside to tell you, yeah, you may like this, but it needs to be quashed.
I'll go in there and tell him it's fine, mate, leave it.
No, it was so honest.
What would this film have done to get a 10 from you then, Paul?
It just doesn't.
Be half an hour shorter.
No. It's like that thing we talk about. It's like it doesn't sit in your heart.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Even
it
the
doesn't,
scene that you said sits in your heart because you've got a kid.
That sits in your heart for the wrong reason, mate.
It's the fact that I get upset because she had a kid and she died. That's not a reason to put it in a 10 out of 10 film for me. But I like films that are slow and there's tension running throughout, and then the payoff is big enough to like warrant that slow pace. And I think that did it for me. It really did it for me.
I think there were too many problems along the way, mate. There are too many problems along the way. I think you can't get away from the fact that this film puts 2 men who are off camera abhorrent as front and centre in this film, and it doesn't ask you to feel sorry for them, but it's their story. You kind of are supposed to feel a little bit sorry for Vince Vaughn when he's shot after his girlfriend rejects his proposal, and you kind of made to feel a little bit sorry for Mel Gibson when he gets shot at the end by the guy in the car. And at the end, you're also meant to feel justified and feel vindicated that he was able to provide for his wife and get those gold bars. And it's like, man, this story is outdated now.
I think the only thing you're supposed to like think, okay, at least you got the money, is that bit. The rest, it's like, Vince Vaughn got shot. Yeah, he got shot because he got put in this situation. His wife didn't want to marry him. Of course she didn't want to marry him because he's a fucking idiot. And Mel Gibson got shot. Of course he did, because he was about to shoot the other guy. I never felt sorry for any of them.
Yeah, but I think you are. It's not that you're meant to feel sorry, but you're meant to feel an emotion on the back of it.
Yeah, I felt, yeah, this is a fucking horrible world. Of course they're going to die.
Yeah.
That's
But
how
why, they
I
could have
felt
done that
right
in
through
an
the
hour and a
film.
half then. Why did you, if you're not meant to
Because-
feel nothing for them, why spend so much time with these characters?
Because you had to sit through the horror, the shit people they were, the racist people they were, to think, okay, this is a
So why do
fucking,
you
these are
feel
horrible
happy
people.
they're
It's a
dead
horrible
then?
world. Who
I
feels
just feel
happy?
very
at the end?
happy they would. Like, if they were trying to say how horrible the person was, you should feel like, oh, I'm glad that person's dead.
No, because
think
it's
either.
just no. The fact is, they're not like monsters. They're realistic people in a realistic world. This is how people every day. There's
Yes,
racist
I
people
agree.
walking down the street,
Yeah, I agree with that.
but they put themselves in this situation, so it's like they got to live with the situation.
That's the fault of the director, is that he's, like it or not, he takes too long for you to fall in step with it. And by the time he's won around half the people, another half of people have tuned out because it's like, you haven't done enough to justify my investment in this film up to this point.
Honestly, I reckon if we weren't doing the podcast on this film, I might have switched it off.
No, I wouldn't have switched
Or
it
I
off.
might
don't really
have,
switch
I'd have
off
probably
films.
picked up my phone or something like that. Like,
You picked up your phone anyway, mate. We
Yeah,
know
you
how
fucking
you
had
watch
your phone in your
films.
hand, mate.
I tried. I got to do it because otherwise I missed bits.
There are good moments to it, and I do think like the thing that really helps it is the total lack of music, because cutting out music suddenly makes it feel less like a movie and more like a, oh, I'm in this with them. Particularly the whole standoff at the end. Like, that is without doubt the strongest bit. If he hadn't have nailed that standoff with the car and the van for as long as he did at the end, this I don't know that anything in that hour and a half is worth talking about, to be honest with you. Like, Paul, up until the point where we're introduced to her coming back from her maternity leave, in that opening hour and 10, hour 20, however long it is, what would you say is worthy in that? What are you enjoying about that?
I actually really enjoy the relationship between Vince Vaughn and Mel Gibson. I think like the subtle humour that runs throughout his writing as well, I think is brilliant. It's so like, it's dark humour, yeah. It's something, most of it's racist humour as well, but I'd really enjoy it. I think it's great writing, and I feel it feels natural as well.
If this director did another film, I don't know if he's probably got another film lined up anyway. I would probably watch it if it was sub 2 hours.
Adam, watch Bone Tomahawk, because you may as well
I will.
complete the Trinity, because I'm going to watch Brawl for all my sins, just so I get a bit.
Is it on any streaming services or do I have to buy it?
I had to buy it. I don't think it's streaming.
Bone Tomahawk's the only one that's not streaming.
Yeah, if it's a sub 2 hour film, I might invest in him because there is something there that
There
might
is,
be worth
Adam,
seeing.
there's much more going on in Bone Tomahawk, and there's more like changing landscape. It doesn't feel, even though some horrific shit happens, it doesn't feel as like oppressively like shit. Like, this film just makes you feel like shit. It makes you feel like, oh, it's a shit world and here's a bunch of shit people and you're gonna be involved in that world for 3 hours. It's like, nah, world is shit enough at the moment. I can do without that, I think.
Okay.
It's still, I still say the pacing is just as same as in Bone Tomahawk as Dragged Across Concrete.
Bone Tomahawk is only 2 hours 10 minutes.
There you go. So 40
But
minutes less.
how much is that? How like that end bit, that end section of Bone Tomahawk, Ben?
Yeah.
That doesn't last that long, does it?
I don't know. In memory, it feels like that lasts about half hour.
And then what happens in the other bit, the other part of the film?
Oh yeah, building up, but there's definitely, but you're not dealing with 2 people, and also from memory, the characters were more interesting, and I actually felt sympathy. There was a journey.
Worth investing.
I
And that journey was
rate
interesting.
Bone Tomahawk high, so I'm not
Yeah.
down on you. I love Bone Tomahawk so much.
That journey in Bone Tomahawk is interesting before you get to what you get to. So
100%.
That's what was nice. Whereas the journey, if the horror in this is the standoff, I feel like the journey in this just isn't.
The journey wasn't worth the payoff for you,
No. And
but
don't
the
you
payoff
think,
was good.
But don't you think that the payoff was good? Yeah. I wish that I could have really done without the final scene though of her getting the gold in the mail, because that felt so fucking typical.
Didn't need it. You didn't need that end scene. You didn't need. I don't think you even needed him going back to his big house and the mum's getting a
Definitely not.
massage and everything like that.
Definitely not.
What do you think he means by let's go hunt some lions?
I just thought, have I missed something here when he had that line? Like, was there like a word that he said throughout the film, like, in relation to that, or was it just that meant to be a throwaway line?
I disagree. I know what the line means, I think.
Well, at a guess, I'm going to say that in theory, the lion should dismantle the human quite easily, even though because they're dangerous and they're predators, but the human's got a gun and he can take out these dangerous characters. So he is saying, I went through that whole bank job, I survived, I killed off those guys, I'm standing.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I see it's like the lions are like the people who doing the bank robbery, and they're like the small time crooks
Yeah.
who go and take out the lions. That's what I see it as. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of them took out the lions.
I quite like the credits, so they were quite cool.
I was about to turn it off, and then I started going, oh, hang on, these credits look cool, so I did stick with them, yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like that B movie kind of feel where you see like the credits come up and you see the actor's name next to like a still of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a little shot of them doing something action in the film, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Here's a little thing that I'm telling you that the issue that I kind of have with it is this whole two white men, let's follow their story, they're a bit racist, they're a bit sexist. It's like, whether or not it is asking you to identify with them or not, we've seen it so often. But the fact that Mel Gibson chose this role, a character who is basically blacklisted and outcast because he's caught on camera / tape doing something, is like, this is your life, mate. This
Yeah, I
is
know.
just an excuse for you to go, poor me, this happened to me as well. I identify with this character. And it just didn't sit right. And Vince Vaughn, like, my hatred for Vince Vaughn comes purely because he's a Republican. So I don't hate Mel Gibson, even though he's a dickhead. I don't hate him, but I hate Vince Vaughn. So to put two people who are already have no charisma off camera as people, to then put them in horrible roles is a bit like, here's dickheads playing dickheads. It's not like a good actor playing a dickhead. It's just a couple of dickheads that I'm watching on camera.
Do you think it was like a creative choice to bring Mel Gibson to this film? Because I feel like you automatically have that feeling of like, do I like this guy? But about half the people definitely don't like this guy,
Yeah.
and it kind of gives that kind of air of a feeling before you even start watching the film.
It's true. Yes. Yeah, could be very much
It's like,
intentional.
oh, he's racing this as well. Well, I'm definitely not supposed to like him.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a role he wrote for Mel Gibson?
No,
I
it didn't.
I think it was when Mel Gibson was directing Hacksaw Ridge and Vince Vaughn was on it, and I think Vince brought the script to him. And I think he was interested from that point.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is me.
What?
I can do this role.
Oh, it's me.
Oh, I thought it's for me. I thought you were talking about Smee from Peter Pan. Then.
Same. It's Smee. Where's Smee? I'm Smee.
I just think the length that it works against it, mate. That's the issue. It's the length. If it had lost an hour, I could have gone, hey, do you know what? Maybe this is an 8. But I reckon what it makes me want to do is rewatch Bone Tomahawk, because I can't remember what I gave Bone Tomahawk. It feels like I gave that an 8, but possibly a 9. But I feel like rewatching Bone Tomahawk, I could lift it in light of this as well, because it helps me appreciate how he mastered that a little bit more. But Brawl, in terms of
this came out afterwards.
Oh yeah, I know. We'll see. The Zalas. How do you rank the Zalas then? Your favourite's Bone Tomahawk, and then this is
I'd
bottom.
say Bone Tomahawk, Cell Block, and then Dragged Across.
So you're giving them all 9s, are you?
Now I am, yeah. I really enjoy his style. I just love like the dread and horror.
Adam, what did you give Brawl?
Probably, I think maybe a
I
7.
can't say probably.
I don't know. I'll look it up for you if you want. If you want
Yeah.
facts out here.
I'm
think
trying
you
to
gave it a
look it up
7.
now.
I think you gave it a 7.
Yeah, I gave it a 7.
So you preferred Brawl over this?
Yeah. I
Okay.
don't think I lost as much interest in Brawl itself
Again,
at
it's
the
that
moment.
fucking Vince Vaughn though, man.
Vince
I
Vaughn is
find
very
him-
centric in this as well.
Yeah, see, Vince Vaughn, I really, really struggle with that man. Like, honestly, I cannot name a film that has him in that I even remotely like.
Dodgeball.
I don't really like Dodgeball, no.
How about Into the Wild? What did you rate that?
Into the Wild, yeah, but you fucking loved that. I don't like it
Into
that
the
much.
Wild, is
I
he
can't
in
even
Into the
remember him in
Wild?
Into the Wild.
Yeah.
I can't remember him in it.
He rides that combine harvester.
2 minutes.
Yeah, he's not in it long.
That's
I
not.
can't
It's
remember
not.
him
I
in
wouldn't class that as a Vince Vaughn film.
Well, he's in it.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not his film, is it?
Well, it could ruin it for Ben.
Yeah.
Let me talk about something that we haven't spoken about. The fact this film has been heavily panned because of the fact it's horribly racist. There's no trying to hide the fact that it's racist. It's just racist, and that's why they hate it.
Are people actually saying that? Because I'm surprised.
People are actually saying it. Yeah,
I can kind of see sometimes where they're coming from because the race. There's no payoff from the racism in this film.
I mean, it doesn't have to be, though. There doesn't have to be any payoff
No.
for the racism, and that would not be an honest film.
It
if
doesn't
did
need
that.
to be in the film. In some
I
ways,
just really don't like when people just put down a film, not for the fact, it's not like a fucking Nazi propaganda film, is it? It's not saying, look,
No.
everyone, you should be racist, you should hate black people, you should hate
it
India, you should
doesn't
hate...
glorify.
Like, it's not saying
it
that.
tells you
It's
not to do it.
It's, yeah, this world is like, these are just people who are racist in a film. It's not saying, it's not... Like, it's the same as fucking every Quentin Tarantino film. It's like, you can love that film, why can't you love this film?
Yeah, even sometimes in that film, there's no need for the racism in it. It doesn't add anything.
Well, okay, there's no
develop a
need for racism in our world, but people just do it. They don't need to add it into the
Yes.
conversation, but they just do it anyway.
Well, they can stay in their own little corner and do their own little things.
I never really thought of this film as particularly racist anyway. I know that there was racist elements at play, but it never stood out to me as being particularly
I can
bad.
see where they come from, but at the same time, I wouldn't target this film out of all the films there've been.
One
I
of
think-
the bravest characters, or the bravest choices in this movie was to have Mel Gibson's wife say, I didn't used to be racist until we moved to this neighbourhood. Because it was a ballsy move to show someone who identifies as liberal, basically saying, I'm liberal, but fucking hell, there's a lot of blacks in this neighbourhood. And I thought, that's a fucking brave move, because
Yeah.
we know them fucking conversations happen. Those conversations happen. And we can't be holier than thou when watching films and go, oh, I'll only like or identify with characters who think exactly like me, because then we would never enjoy half of fucking cinema. There's got to be people that we identify with that we find are repugnant as well, because you see the humanity in them. I would not call it a racist movie. But here's the issue, Paul, is if someone said, this is a racist movie, you shouldn't go and see it, I'd say, well, that's bullshit. It's not. It's a fucking story. It's telling a story about some characters. But if someone said to me, oh, you shouldn't be supporting that movie, they've got a guy who, on tape, was really racist, playing a racist character, he should have some comeuppance in real life, then I'd go, maybe. So if it's a choice between this and something that doesn't star a racist, a confirmed racist, then I'd probably go and see that other film.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I can separate the art from the
The other
art.
film was Hacksaw Ridge. He's just not in it. He's just behind the camera.
Mate, I've always said that Mel Gibson is a fucking stunning director. He's a much better director than he is an actor. Much
100%.
better. He's
great.
fantastic. Although I haven't seen Hacksaw Ridge. I have to see that, despite its obvious religious undertones.
Yeah, that's the bit. That's what I didn't like about it. But carry on.
He is a religious fuck. His religion is as bad as his racism.
It is, and his religion kind of brings that racism on.
That's very true. If nobody tell him that Jesus was from the Middle East, though, he'd have a fucking
No.
pulmonary.
No, Jesus was Jewish. He doesn't like Jews, does he?
Oh, he's all over the place. What do you think of his moustache?
I love it.
I quite rated his moustache in this film. It worked for him.
Didn't notice his moustache.
Some
It was
point.
right there, sitting on his lip the whole time.
Yeah, I saw it, but I was like, I didn't know if I liked it or just liked it.
You know,
past
at the
it.
end, okay, here's something I wanted to talk about, and then I totally forgot. At the end, when he's climbing over the van,
Yeah.
after he's thrown the tear gas in, and
When he shoots the door off.
yeah, all of that shit, he gets shot off the roof of the van,
Yeah.
right? They shoot him and he falls off.
Yeah.
We never find out who the fucking shot him.
Okay, I had to rewatch this bit because I thought exact same thing. But what happens is he shoots.
through-
Yeah, he shoots Vogelman in the van, the guy who's running the job.
Yeah.
Shoots him in the neck, so he gets killed. And then you see a brief second where he looks at the van because he thinks, "Let me go get the money or the gold." And then the what's his name, Henry.
Yeah.
He shoots the gun out of his hand and he falls off the truck because he knows he's going to go for that gold. And that's when they have the conversation saying, "Do you want to split this?"
Are you sure?
Yes.
He doesn't get shot through the van. He gets shot.
He gets shot in the leg through the van.
I'm gonna
That's why
have
he's
to
limping.
fucking rewatch that as we speak. You two continue. I'm gonna have to rewatch that scene in particular. I'm gonna look at this now.
Yeah, I had to rewatch myself. But that's what happens. He glances at the door of the truck because he thinks, "Let me go get the gold," and then you see the shot from the distance, and it shoots him off the van.
All right.
And he's got a bulletproof vest on.
Let me see this shit. I was sure he got shot in the leg through
And
Yeah,
then
he
I
did.
just thought he just shoots back down
He did.
the van.
That
like,
happens.
sprays
That
the gun.
happens before the it gets shot through the van and shoots him in the leg, and then he shoots the guy in the van.
Okay, let me look for my fucking self because I think you're chatting shit. Right, so the guy comes out. There he goes. He pulls the gasoline, and then Troy shoots at him and says, "Don't be firing that up. I want the gold." And he says, "The gold won't burn." Yeah, and then he's climbing across. Doors open. He gets shot in the leg and falls off. He gets shot in the leg and falls off, mate. He's shooting.
Has he
through
shot
a
the guy
hole
in the van yet?
Yeah, he's just shot the guy in the van, right? Then he looks at the door, and as he walks to it, he gets shot
Yeah, he gets
In the
shot
leg.
off the van.
in the leg.
No, he gets shot in the leg through. Does he get shot in the leg on that bit, or is it before that?
Well, I don't think it's very clear. If that's okay, I see him shooting the guy in the van. So that's what I mean. He shoots the guy in the van, and he's holding the barrel of the gun of the guy who's
Yeah,
shooting
and
him
shoots
through the
him,
van.
and then he looks at the door, and then he gets shot off the van.
Oh, that is so not clear, mate. It looks like the shot comes from below. Because I swear, it looks like blood shoots up from his leg at that point. I don't know.
Well,
about that.
you're watching at the moment. I can't see it.
It's hard to say. It's very. I mean, I could believe it your way, but it's not clear. Anyway, well, that's that.
Well, that's what's supposed to happen anyway. My way. Whether or not,
Now it's my way or the highway.
maybe they
Mr.
cut the
Pink.
editing down a bit.
Maybe. What did you think of the black guys with their white makeup on?
I thought it's good.
It was a
I enjoyed
mask,
it.
wasn't it?
No, they were wiping it off.
They
and
were wearing
had all black
white makeup.
hairspray.
Interesting. I've never seen that before.
White shirts.
No, made me feel very uncomfortable.
I like when they put their mask on as they're approaching the van.
It's all very troubling. Everything that goes on in the film. It is a gruesome and horrible world full of horrible people. That feels like it's closer than we might like to think. I agree.
You nailed it, mate, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, I would
It really
love
ticks
it.
my boxes.
Well, it ticks your boxes. I just wish it was a little shorter for me. Thank you.
I always remember, Ben, when I first met you guys, you always told me that Paul loves a film with cops in it.
That's true. I said sheriff, like any sort of cowboy lead cop, but this you wouldn't vote this as a cop film, really, would you? They're bad guys.
I don't
get
know
you
why.
got-
It just always remembers me every time I watch a film with a cop in it. I was like, oh, Paul always likes films with cops in.
It's true. I do as well. If you've got a hero cop or
Yeah, it's not really a hero.
a handsome leading man who is manly, Paul likes it. not like a Rocky or a Rambo or a Schwarzenegger type,
No,
but they
rubbish.
have to be in
No,
a
not a bit of
position.
Schwarzenegger.
No, I'm sure you do, but I mean, you very uniquely like the Walking Dead lead from Walking Dead, lead from Lost, lead in Leftover type leading man in your films and your television shows. That's for sure.
I also like it dark, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying you don't like
And
it.
with racist humour.
I love a bit of racist humour, apparently.
Quickly, off the top of your head, what's your favourite film with the leading lady? Go, bang.
Alien.
Oh,
Hard Candy.
nah, bollocks, mate.
That's the only one that first one.
That's the only thing that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head.
That's because you're
Just came to my
sexist
head.
like Mel Gibson.
No, it's because I watched it recently.
You're sexist like Mel Gibson.
Terminator.
Too easy.
Atomic Blonde is the next one I can see that one. Film
I
one.
Too
like
easy.
Atomic Blonde.
You've had to
Atomic
Google
Blonde
it.
was
That's
alright.
how bad things are that you've had to Google leading ladies
We're
in movies.
fucking I'm reeling them
No.
off for you.
No,
Not
no.
good enough
I'm
for you, though,
looking-
is it?
I'm looking through my DVD, my Blu-ray.
Juno.
Bollocks. What, you only listen to Ellen Page films, my son?
Yeah?
Forget this. I have a question. Why?
Yeah, go on.
Why?
I have question.
No. Let's be real. These films,
Mm-hmm.
these sorts of films, get a 9 from you, yeah?
Yeah.
But why do you not want to say, this story's been told a lot of times before, I don't see anything original about this, we should have an original story. I'm not even saying put women in the leads, that's not what I'm saying. Let's have a totally different and original story, a story we haven't seen before.
Are you saying that a story about unredeemable people, like disgusting world, is something we see all the time?
Oh yeah.
No, it's not. You see the world that's disgusting, but it's got the hero in it, and they're gonna save the day. They're gonna brighten up the dark world that they live
Only
in.
mainstream.
Yeah. Well, what? Okay, but you're always saying you can't watch the mainstream. You got to watch the independent stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
how can you ever win if you're
You
saying
can't.
that?
You can't ever win with me. The contrarians think they're contrarian. They fucking ain't. I can argue the toss with anything, mate. If you like it, I've got an argument for why you shouldn't.
He waits to find out
course.
your opinion, and he'll just argue the other opinion depending on what way you went.
It's all good fun and banter, mate.
We
He
love
was
it.
waiting for
conversation
Paul. He
going.
was waiting for Paul to give this film. He's like, I loved it the first time.
Yeah,
I
it
absolutely
was a
hated
10.
it the second time round.
It was a 10 out of 10, but he dropped
Yes.
it to that 7.
No, honestly,
Ben would have given it a 10.
in all honesty, I'm very glad that I watched the film because I must say, when you first said it last week as a recommendation, you said, I'll try something different, Dragged Across Concrete. And like you said, I said at the beginning of the podcast, Adam, when you read that description, you get a very clear idea of what the film's going to be. You think fast paced, you think a bit action packed, you think a bit just like a story you've always seen. And I'll give it credit for it. It was told very, very differently, and it handled its characters well. I wouldn't have wanted it to do its characters
There's a
any
good
other
film
way.
in there somewhere. There's
There
a
is.
film in there somewhere that's decent.
Listen, Adam, you didn't like it, so just let Ben speak because he liked it.
I'm just saying, if a shorter runtime, I think if you're going to have an almost 3-hour film, there needs to be a sense of you earned that runtime. And in this, you didn't. If you drop an hour, I'll give you another point. I'll probably give this an 8. If you can drop that an hour from that opening hour and a half, I'd rank this up a bit. But I think it was too self-indulgent to run for the time it did.
Ben, when you're in lockdown, what you should do is you should edit this film yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you a little lockdown project. You can try and edit an hour out of this film.
Far out, man.
He's not going to do it, mate.
No, I'm not. Far
Anchovies.
fucking out. Anchovies. I don't understand why they kept saying anchovies. Explain that to me.
I think it was just like something he said when a situation is just like shit.
You know what was one of the worst moments? For me, much worse than when they shot her in the bank, is when they were slicing into his stomach and the sound it made. It
yes.
was like a squeaking
Oh yeah, and
sound.
they were like, "This is gonna be the worst smell ever," wasn't it?
If you
Yeah.
cut into the
cut into the liver.
liver, yeah.
Ugh. The sound effects
Yeah,
is
it's
horrible.
like-
And he threw that key up as well. He threw that key up
Oh yeah, I love that bit.
and he puts it right back in.
He's like, oh shit. He's like, you're gonna have to get one. I can't remember what he said. I can't remember what he said. But they just froze it up immediately after he says it, and then starts to swallow it again. Oh,
That was
funny.
good.
That's what I love. I love the practical effects in this as well. And
Yeah,
I think
practical effects are very good.
It runs throughout his other films as well. It's like nothing's ever digital. It looks like realistic and a little bit over the top.
Yeah.
Which
in
I
Bone,
like.
in Bone Tomahawk, I like it. They stand out. Those practical effects for sure. They stand out. I do want to
Horror.
watch that again. That Bone Tomahawk. Now that this has put me in mind for that. I cannot
fantastic.
imagine ever wanting to go and rewatch this, mate.
I think you should though.
Well,
One day.
I won't.
Did Jenny watch it?
Certainly not. This would not be her bag.
No.
It'd be too long, and also just like not like
Yeah. Zoe wouldn't like it either.
yeah. There would need to be some redemption or something like that. But yeah, a little bit too.
See, this is like the same as like No Country for Old Men. It's like that ending where it's like it's not a good ending. It's not
I
really
like
a happy
that
ending.
It's not a happy ending, no.
That's,
but that's
a film
good.
that has a payoff.
That's a strong ending, man. That story you can read into and read into and read into.
I love that film.
I'm
10 out-
rewatching.
10 out of
Speaking
10,
of
mate.
that and Cohen's, I'm rewatching the Fargo television series for the 4th time. I fucking love that
Oh,
first
really?
season.
4th?
Man. Yeah,
which
it's mental.
the whole lot.
Yeah, I'll go through the whole lot, but the first season.
I was saying this to Francis
is my 4th
yesterday, I
year
was
watching
like-
the first.
Like, I love that show so much, man, but they take so long to do them.
Yeah,
It's
I know
just
they
like,
do.
when
They
will
do,
they-
but it's worth the wait, mate. The second one was very good, but I do think we forget just how good that first one was with its simplicity, man. Martin Freeman's incredible.
The behind the scenes kind of UFO theories in season 2.
Yes.
So good.
Anyway, we've gone right off tangent. Does
Yeah,
that
it's
mean we've
off
got nothing
track.
to say about this now?
I think that's it. I think we've finished.
We're
Anchovies.
done with this. We've dragged ourselves across the concrete.
Okay, yeah, the last thing we've got to say is what we think dragged across concrete means.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought it was the body getting dragged across concrete at the end of the film.
That's what I thought as well, yeah.
I think it's more. It goes back to the line that the lieutenant says to him. It says, "You've scuffed concrete your whole life," and you've got to this point. It's like he's been dragged so much. It's like he's a. It's like if you got dragged behind a car, you've been withered down, and you're now this person.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like walk the beat, like you said. That's what policemen do, don't they? They walk the concrete, they walk the streets,
That's
and it's
interesting.
withered them
Yeah.
down to a
Walk
man.
the
they
concrete.
used to be. You walk the concrete. That's the saying, isn't it?
I mean, anyway, I've never ever heard that said before.
Well, you've heard it here first.
But we asked some other people of what their opinion was because they knew we were watching this film. So other people had to chime in with their 2 fucking cents. So we got some words from some randomers here, and we're gonna read them out.
All right, I'll start. We've got one here from Scott Redding, who's written into us quite a few times. Not the best film for me, to be honest. Felt that so much was missing.
I got a comment here from Jabba2000. They said, dragged a little, no pun intended, in the middle, but loved overall. Great chemistry between Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn.
It's interesting. I don't know that. They kind of worked well together, but the chemistry, I don't know, because chemistry suggests that something's being cooked up, magical between them.
I loved it. I think it was great.
Russell Bailey, I did not care for it. I'm a big fan of Bone Tomahawk and Brawl in Cell Block 99, but this was also crushingly mean-spirited. Really didn't like the bank teller tangent. Took the words out of my mouth, Russell. I'm with you on that.
The Geeky Amriki, they said it's a nihilistic but ultimately realistic crime thriller with great characters who could get what they deserve, as sad as it is. Well, except for the mum, that was just fucked up. Her co-worker that caused it definitely deserved to get plugged, though.
Yeah, the co-worker did.
Yes. Literally put her in that situation.
I know. And why would
Horrible
you
person.
send that fucking email, man? Just leave it. Why be
It's
a
like
hero at that
you
point?
fucking reached for that button.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're there. You're there
And
already.
he did reach for it as well.
I know. And she took the fucking bullets.
Yeah. Oh, poor woman. The next one's from Charlie. She said, I couldn't overlook the blatant racist and sexist overtones the film has. It baffles me that this film was made in 2018 and they casually try to play it off. This film is way too long, 2 hours and 38 minutes, and for what? An evening wasted. Also, the way the only character I cared about was Kelly, and they did her like that.
Kelly, is that what her character was called?
That must have been her character's name, yeah. I didn't even know her character name.
No. That's because the film has sexist undertones, so they didn't even care to give you her name.
Oh, shit.
There you go. Well, we kind of talked about the whole racist, sexist thing earlier in the pod. So, Sean C. liked the pacing, and surprisingly, the last half really worked for me. The writing through the first half is so on the nose politically. It was frustrating. Zala has talent, but as much as I loved Bone Tomahawk, it feels a long time ago now. So another person essentially saying Bone Tomahawk is the winner out of this.
It is the winner.
Collection. What do you think he or she means by the writing through the first half is so on the nose politically?
Maybe just the blatant racism.
Yeah, like it doesn't try and pull its punches when it's talking about the climate, so to speak. Yeah, it is. But is that a good thing? Who knows? Anyway, they're the comments. So shall we place this fucking thing in our list of films that we watch in our life?
Yes, please.
Right, so we went away and we did our little bit of magic, and we basically averaged it out at a 7.3. We have 3 other films in our top film list that we gave that score in ascending order. Top of the pile was It Chapter 2. We then had Can You Ever Forgive Me below that, and we had I, Tonya below that. And after a little deliberation on the side, we have decided to place Dragged Across Concrete above I, Tonya, but below It Chapter 2 and Can You Ever Forgive Me. How does that make you feel, Paul?
It makes me feel fine. I would have put it at the top.
You would have.
I would have put it at the bottom.
You don't have the say.
I know.
That just shows Paul he doesn't like the film I, Tonya because it's got a woman as the main character.
I rated it higher than both of you.
He likes his racism.
I
It's
rated
true.
I, Tonya higher than both of you.
Paul liked I, Tonya because he thought...
Whoa, apparently I like women in film more than you do.
Paul thinks just because a woman's in the film, it makes it good.
Oh, twisting it now, are you?
Listen, Paul's going to have some hurt feelings here because we've done 4 films so far. I'm fucking loving this new format, by the way, where we suggest films, actually. Once
I really
quarantine
like
lives,
it as well.
I say it could potentially half the time continue. But the 2 films that Paul has suggested fall at the bottom of our 4-pack.
What was his first one?
I'm picking the controversial
he
films,
did
mate.
Serbian film.
You like the Hollywood
Oh, yeah.
glamour at the top.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
But Adam,
Should we find out what I'm going to suggest?
you better pick something that's going to fuck us up next.
Okay.
Here we go.
It is a
It's
little
the
off the
next
radar.
pick. So what are we doing next episode, Adam?
I feel that this might be our first foreign film that we've done on the podcast.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Swanky
okay.
Time.
Can you guess it?
If it's Roma, I'll beat you to a bloody pulp.
Oh no, we did Roma, didn't we?
No, we didn't, and we never would.
Oh, Roma.
I was thinking of that the other day, you know.
I'm not
What a
going
piece
to
of
make
shit.
anyone sit through that. I'd rather rewatch Drive Through Concrete than rewatch Roma.
I would rather be dragged through concrete.
The film I'm going to pick is The Raid,
Oh, okay.
All right.
which
I
is
feel
also on
like that.
Netflix, so
Spectacular.
everybody can get ahead and watch it, and you guys can watch it again
I didn't
as
watch it
well.
that long ago, but I'm going to watch it again just to freshen up.
Do you know what's interesting? On my little scavenger hunt list on Letterboxd, I've got The Raid 2 coming up in about 5 or 6 films. So this is a pertinent time to be rewatching
Yeah.
that first one.
Well, since we're doing The Raid, do you want to do The Raid 2 and we'll do a little double header here, like compare and contrast
Okay.
and see how it goes?
I like this idea very much.
That's good. I
Like
do.
the way they're done is two different styles of the same.
Well, I haven't seen
Film,
the
in my
second
opinion.
one, so don't
Okay.
spoil. As
Well,
much as
say
you can
it.
spoil a film where it consists of kicks and punches.
This could be a long podcast, isn't it?
I can't imagine so. We'll go, so what did you think of that kick? Yeah, that kick was all right. What did you
That
think
was
of
a
that
good kick.
punch? Yeah, that punch was good too.
Right, shall I wrap
Excellent.
this shit up?
Yes.
Okay, so you can get in touch with us at FilmbustersPod on Instagram and Twitter. You can get to our website at www.filmbusterspod.co.uk. We have our lovely reviews and all our podcasts on there as well, so you can go listen to them. You can email us at filmbusters@outlook.com, or you can go to our personal Twitter accounts. I'm at FilmbustersPaul.
I'm at Filmbusters Adam.
Caught him off guard there. And I'm at Filmbusters Ben for a change.
That is very scary that you just said Ben. Haven't heard that in a while.
I know. Because I couldn't think of a clever enough response.
He needs
Two.
the followers now.
I need the followers, yeah.
I'm at Filmbusters Racist.
Oh, You deserve to be banned.
Guys, we never answered the letter, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Gordon
okay.
Russell.
Oh, yes.
Let's roll the theme tune first. We have a letters theme tune we haven't rolled in a while.
No, that's
Letters everywhere. You could blow them up and they could spell disaster.
Well, that should have been the theme tune, but unfortunately, it's a silly thing instead about 3
Can
males
you leave that in there at
receiving
least?
emails.
Because that's quite clever.
Let's listen to Adam swearing in a jingle again.
These 3 males just received emails.
Well, what are we supposed to do about it?
Fucking read them.
I didn't swear in it.
You do. You swear in both your jingles. You swear in that you fucking serious, and then in your letters one, fucking read them. Everyone thinks you're an uneducated trollop.
Potty mouth.
Well, I think my version there was better because it had a nice little joke in it as well.
Adam, I wish you wouldn't swear.
Do you want to hear the letter or not?
Yes,
Yes.
let's hear the letter.
Who sent it?
Fucking Gordon Russell. I've said this. You need to listen.
Is that a man or lady?
I'm not going to assume anyone, gender.
Both the first name and the last name are male names.
I think they're a lady. What did she say?
They said, "Can you think of a film that you watched that you would probably not normally watch normally?" You fucked me up, man.
Go on, just keep going.
I'm not like Paul. Okay, can you think of a film that you watched that you probably would not normally watch? From a recommendation of a friend critic. That really surprised you.
I got one already.
Go on then.
Okay.
I have to think.
This was actually quite a lovely recommendation from Benjamin Murray.
Oh.
What do you think it was?
Well, I can't think of a film, but I can think of 2 TV shows. One's Twin Peaks and one's Battlestar Galactica.
No, we're talking about films though.
Yeah, I know. Well, then I don't know. What was it? What surprised you?
It's not that it's not really something that I wouldn't watch, but it's something that if I didn't know about, I probably would never been on the top of the pile. It would have been down the list.
Oh.
And that was Glenn Ross.
Oh, well, look at this now. My favourite
Yes.
film.
What a wonderful watch that was. I never expected that.
What a beauty.
I don't
That's
know. I
beautiful.
can't. I don't know if I can answer that question because I think you guys have probably recommended every film I've probably nearly watched recently.
Aye.
'Cause you
So what
started
was it?
to
Surely there was a
inspire
good
me.
one at least.
I don't know. What have you told? You told me to watch a lot.
Well, I'm finding it difficult to say as well because I forget what's been recommended to me and what was me. But
there's a really I know what you're going to say. I was about to say
God.
that exact thing.
You tell me what is my favourite recommendation.
Bone Tomahawk.
Yes, to keep it topical, because I would have said it regardless of this episode, because it was one that stands out in my memory. That was something that I never would have watched beforehand, and also it wasn't just a streaming watch. I had to pay money for the fucker, and I paid money for it, and it was as I said earlier, a very good film. And Adam, I recommend that you watch that one as well. That was a very good call.
Oh, okay. I'm looking through my things over here, and there's one film that stands out for me, and I don't know why if it's necessarily the film that stands out or where we were. Well, I remember being in Tesco with you two, and I picked up the Gone Girl thing with the little book inside of it, and you were both like, "Have you seen this film?"
Oh.
And I was like, "No," and you were like, "Okay, you've got to watch it."
I can't even
And he
remember
hated
saying
it.
that.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I
It's not a great
didn't
film,
love it. I
though, is
didn't hate it. I think I'd probably give it an
kind
8.
of fine. Yeah.
But I just remember this scenario. We haven't really answered Gordon's question. We've kind of more just.
I answered it
talked about
perfectly.
shit.
We answered
Yeah,
it
but
very
you're a
well.
tit.
Gordon's alive, mate. Gordon's alive. What's that?
Gordon
for?
I'd say
Bennett.
Gordon, just listen to the podcast, and they probably come more naturally than I'm putting us on the spot.
What does that
We don't
mean?
do well.
Gordon's alive. What's that from?
I know it,
You're
but I
probably
can't think of where it's
chatting
from.
Shit.
Yeah, see, Paul is a fucking fair weather fan. He thinks he likes Flash. He thinks he likes Flash. He only likes Flash if it's made in the last 2
Oh,
years.
are you talking about Flash Gordon?
I am.
I don't like that fucking Flash, mate.
You do. That's the only Flash you like, mate.
Flash!
Flash. Savior of the universe.